Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generación, CJNG, is the single criminal organization most responsible for these deaths on both sides of the border. Project Python, which culminated today, was a long-term, national, synchronized enforcement operation with the goal of disrupting, dismantling, and destroying elements of CJNG. CJNG operates on both sides of the border. Here in Los Angeles, a major transshipment hub for CJNG, the operation relied heavily on the use of wiretaps and undercover operatives. The local investigations conducted in concert with our partners resulted in the seizure of more than 1,600 pounds of methamphetamine, 150 pounds of heroin, fentanyl, and other opiates, 28 firearms, and over $5 million in cash. 27 suspects were arrested since the operation began on a variety of significant federal and state charges, and we're still seeking additional suspects at this time. Chapo was a lot of flash. He was a very flashy person. CJNG was targeted primarily for two reasons: the rapid expansion of territory they control in Mexico, which they accomplished through extreme use of violence and intimidation, and their proficiency in driving the production of synthetic drugs in Mexico. El Mencho's son was extradited here to the United States to face charges, and that was a decision that Mexican authorities. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes El Mencho, the leader of CJNG, is still at large today. The United States government is offering up to $10 million for information leading to his arrest. We have a telephone hotline set up, and the telephone number is 213-237-9990. We also have an email tip line. It's menchotips@usdoj.gov.
Would have been destined for CJNG. The brief summary of some is we have taken steps to eradicate the most significant criminal organizations that we face. Others have attempted to take their place. One of the most significant threats we face now comes from the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, known as CJNG. 2 weeks ago, I was in Mexico City meeting with high-level officials from the Mexican Attorney General's office. I can tell you that CJNG operates as a paramilitary force in Mexico, controlling territory, running major methamphetamine labs, and committing extreme acts of violence. CJNG is responsible for much of the methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, and synthetic opioids that we see on our streets, and they use some of that drug money to buy high-powered weapons in the United States. As a result, CJNG is extremely well armed and regularly confronts rival cartels and Mexican security forces. That is why the Department of Justice has deemed CJNG one of the highest priority transnational criminal organizations threats that we face here in the United States.
Police, search warrant!
Just a little bit. Okay.